So Richardson comes back. A nice pass into Ibis plus the foul. The physicality paying off for Kiana.
Yeah, that's 3 times in a row that Arizona State has been able to convert on an out-of-bounds possession, able to just get the ball inside for an easy layup.
Ibis owned the state of Nebraska in high school out of Omaha, a 3-time All-State nominee. Now doing her best to leave her mark on Tempe and adding to her total there after the and one. She's up to 7 points on the game. So just as Oral Roberts finds a crease, Kiana Ibis tries to slam the door shut to some degree. Mayberry over to Gilbert, foot on the line, that's a 2. It's actually a nothing. Ibis corrals the board. Haynes looking to push, playing with really good pace. Over to Ibis, thought about the 3 ball. Instead finding her wide open teammate Richardson. Second 3-pointer, wasn't meant to be. Teammate Robbie Ryan has her back, getting it right back to the Sun Devil squad. Haynes, Richardson, Haynes. Fires, misses. Rudin showing that 5-star re-leap ability, having it for a second, couldn't corral it. It's Gilbert on the floor, losing it. Now Richardson on the floor. And I didn't see any way that didn't end with a jump ball. So the possession arrow back to the Sun Devils. They'll get rewarded for their efforts fighting on the ground. It's a benchmark of a Charlie Turner Thornton team, kind of how many times you see them scrambling, diving, fighting, kicking, screaming for a loose ball.
Yeah, you know, a lot of these Arizona State players, while we did have a great recruiting class this season, have really just come in and they're hard workers and they're ones that put in the extra effort. And the reason that they are here today is because they will get on the floor and they will dive and they will do everything that they can to get the ball one extra possession.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. The Sun Devils, the 10th rated recruiting class in the country. Charlie Turner Thornton called it her most talented group of freshmen when they came in, and she said just yesterday that they've absolutely lived up to the hype. Richardson trying to live up to the hype right now. Tray ball can't hit it. Rebound, Bruner up and in. Sophie Bruner, I hate to use the term manhandling for the women's game, but I can't really say anything else. Nice job bodying out her defender, and she's done that like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, strong player. They're really just passing around the ball on the outside of the zone, so settling a little bit for those shots, but she's able to clean it up.
And Robbie Ryan finding her in transition. Bruner adding to her impressive total. That's 14 points on the day. She hasn't missed a shot yet, 7 for 7 for Sophie Bruner. I was going to say she's shooting 64% from the field over her last 5 games. That number only going to go up after tonight. Beatty fighting in, trying to find something. Beatty and Bretans play catch. Beatty for 3, hits it. Ashley Beatty had one of her best games last time out, shooting incredibly well from behind the arc, and she hits a big one there right as it looked like the Sun Devils were pulling away. Quinn Dornstadter wants to continue that trend, going right up into the body of the freshman Bretans. That was a nice little international on international, Spain on Canada. Canada emerging as the victor there with Dornstadter going to the line.
And Arizona State, after that 3-point shot, able to just kick the ball up the sideline and go right inside. That's what they want to do when Oral Roberts scores, get the ball out quickly and attack the transition defense.
And Quinn has kind of improved rapidly over the last 4 years. It's been a real progression from her freshman year where she didn't really play to now she can potentially be a focal point of the offense if Sophie Bruner wasn't here.
You know, she's really been able to establish her inside game, and you've seen her touch with the hook shots over the right and left shoulder. And then recently able to step out a little bit and make people guard her from the high post, which has really just expanded her entire game.
And that has to really open the floor for this entire Sun Devil team because they like to play with 2 or 3 bigs. And you have Kelsey Moose as a guard kind of playing under, I guess, oversized at that spot. And then the fact that Dornstadter can come out, I think that really just opens the floor for everyone and allows them to kind of break teams down.
Yeah, and you have great senior leadership with Kelsey Moose, Dornstadter, and Sophie Bruner all on the court. It just makes this team very difficult and a very tough team.
A fight for the ball. Ryan doing A 180 in midair to try and save it. Nice hustle to no avail. Oral Roberts keeps possession. Speaking of that senior group, it's pretty interesting because they didn't come in with any of the hype that this freshman group did. None of them are ranked in the top 100 by ESPN.com, and yet they're 78-23 over the last 3+ years. They've won a Pac-12 title. Can't really say much more. As Beatty tries to make this a little closer as the half winds down. Instead, Moose gets the rebound, throws it ahead to Ryan. Crossover, layup, double pump, couldn't finish. Bruner, who else gets the rebound with 8 seconds to go? Loses control of the ball for a second. Jordan Gilbert doing a nice job of diving down and smartly calling a timeout with 6 seconds to go.
Yeah, Arizona State with Robbie Ryan attacking like that. Thought she was going to have a great finish there at the end, but Bruner tries to come up with it, and it's just a scramble, and a good job by Oral Roberts getting on the ground and actually coming up with that possession.
Oral Roberts continuing to show some nice hustle on the defensive end. From the Sun Devil side of things, how do you think they've been able to blend this senior group and this group of freshmen? Because reading about them, it seems like they're very cohesive as a team, but it's also two distinct generations.
Absolutely, and I think it really comes from that senior group, bringing in these freshmen, showing them the work ethic that it takes to win Pac-12 titles and what they need to do in and out in the weight room and on the court.
So the Golden Eagles having 6 seconds to try to get this one closer, down by 13 as of now. It's Mayberry working her way past Richardson. Mayberry putting on the speed, tried to get it over to Iam, who lost it. So the half is going to end with the Sun Devils up by 44-31. Sophie Bruner, the name to know, she has yet to miss. 14 points, 4 rebounds. We'll see if she can continue the dominant effort in half two. Sun Devils up by 13. Second half action from Tempe, Arizona. The Sun Devils are comfortable at home. They're 47-6 on their home court over the last 3 seasons. Looking to continue that trend. They're up by 13 as we come into the second half. Gavin, Schall, Ashley Elliott bringing you all the action from Wells Fargo Arena. I think one of the keys to that big first half lead, Ashley, Oral Roberts coming off a game where they made 10 shots from beyond the arc. Today, just 1 for 5.
Yeah, you've really seen Arizona State get out to shooters, but conversely, you've seen Oral Roberts been able to attack that and get into the paint. They're just not able to kick out for those open threes like they've been able to lately.
The inside game working slightly better for Oral Roberts. Faith Iam has been one of the few bright spots so far with 10 points, and she's tied with Kaylin Mayberry for the leading scorer, another guard who's done a nice job attacking the rim. Neither of them have been quite a match for Sophie Bruner, though, has yet to miss a shot on the day. 14 points for her. And tough defense from the Sun Devils to open this second half. Riley Richardson immediately forcing a turnover and setting the tone.
You see a good job by Arizona State tonight, getting out and denying those passing lanes and getting a lot of deflection, something that is really going to be key for them going into the Pac-12 season, being more aggressive than the other teams.
That's always a strength of Charlie Turner-Thorne teams on the season. They've been pretty good at it, forcing 15 turnovers a game, something they've kind of picked up over the last couple of weeks as the competition has in turn picked up. I think the delay here is that I don't think the clock ever started for the second half. Still showing 10 minutes, and besides hallucinating, we have seen some action in the second half so far. So while they figure that out, we'll take you. Oh, that was quick. Okay. Kelsey moves inbounds into Richardson. The second you start talking. And they're going to stop it again.
Shot clock doesn't look like it started on that one. Should be at about 25 seconds, I do believe.
All right, so the Sun Devils shooting well from the field. The officials 0 for 2 on the clock. Moose is going to inbound. He just switched sides of the court, apparently. Looking for Haynes on the way in. Oh, they were almost running a lob play for Bruner. You saw Kelsey flash a little smile there. She wanted that to work out. Said it's the freshman Richardson, the floor general, thinking about the three. Now the 6'4" Dornstadter behind the arc, over to Haynes. Haynes looking to attack as the shot clock winds under 10. Haynes forced back out, 5 seconds on the clock. Inside to Bruner. She's going to be forced to throw up a tough shot and finally misses. You know, I think that was the only situation where she was going to miss. Get the ball against the double team, only have 2 seconds to make something happen, and she still almost put it in.
She did. She just lost the handle a little bit there. I think they got a piece of it, and she still almost made it.
Nice double team from Moose to cut off Ian. That was really the main way Oral Roberts was generating offense in the first half. Just throw it to Iam and let her create some magic, but that time Moose recognizing and growing from that first half trend and cutting it off.
You know, I'm sure that that's something that they talked about at halftime, keeping Iam out of the lane and then coming over and doubling when she does get there.
Makes an immediate difference. Richardson takes the pick from Bruner, instead gives it over to Haynes, now inside to Bruner. Bruner pivots into the double, misses again, gets her own board though. Haynes calling for a set. Takes the pick from Bruner, who rolls off of it. Haynes thought about the pass, cannot finish. Tough rebound from Iam. She's at 10 and 5 already, looking for a double-double. Mayberry speeds into the body of Richardson before throwing it back out. A nice theft from Richardson. She caught a golden eagle not looking. Moose to Bruner. Bruner pivots up. Third missed shot in a row. Dornstadter losing it now. Nice defense from Reynolds. Mayberry knifing in. Nobody home, and the layup's good. That's what Oral Roberts likes to do. They like to get steals. They like to push you in transition. Neither team has done much on the break so far, but if Oral Roberts can get that going, maybe that's an avenue for them to get back into this.
Yeah, getting out in transition, I'm sure, is a key for them this half. With the pressure that Arizona State puts on, it'll be good for them to get the ball out early and really just attack and see what they can get off that first look in transition.
On mass subs for the Sun Devils, Kiana Ibeson, Charnay Johnson Chapman, and the freshman Robbie Ryan. And I think you nailed it there. It's tough to score against the Charlie Turner Thorne defense once they're set.
Absolutely. They do a great job helping. They do a good job with ball pressure. So to be able to get out and score in transition is going to be key for any team playing them this season.
Ibis driving, throws up the tough fade, and the result was tough as well. Ryan getting the rebound, though, the hard-nosed freshman out of Sheridan, Wyoming. Richardson potentially wanting a screen from Charnay, calling for her to switch sides. Shot clock under 10. Richardson wide open behind the arc. They left her, couldn't hit it. That's an area Richardson has had some trouble this year. Only 23%, so less than 1 out of every 4 going in from behind that three-point line. Someone who's shooting quite a bit better, Martionez, but couldn't finish there. Ibis corralling the board. Getting it back to Richardson. Richardson, a great job running the team. The second she gets that shot going, a real weapon for this Sun Devil team. Russell now top of the arc. In and out dribble for Russell, tipped away by Reynolds.
You've seen here 2 possessions in a row where the Sun Devils have really had a hard time getting an open look. Oral Roberts able to change a little bit defensively, and Arizona State is running that shot clock down. It seems to be a little bit of a lid on the basket on this side of the court for the Sun Devils.
Yeah, Arizona State yet to score nearly 3.5 minutes into the second half. Ryan with the shot clock running down, couldn't change that, so looked like the ball did go off of Oral Roberts, so it's going to stay Arizona State basketball as Sarah Hattis comes into the game for her first action of the second half. Going to be Moose on the inbound. She'll find Haynes. Haynes back to that point guard role, calling out plays. Ibis looking inside for Moose. Moose able to draw a foul on Reynolds. And I think that's another advantage of playing Moose at that guard spot. It's almost like you get a free cross match when she posts up because guards just aren't used to guarding someone that big, that physical, that strong.
Absolutely. Kelsey Moose doing a good job just establishing herself inside on that play. The Sun Devils really early on in this game were able to get a lot of easy buckets inside, and you haven't seen that this half.
So Haynes goes to the outside and hits one from just beyond the elbow. Martioni is nominally a post running offense for a second. Beatty looking towards the corner over to Reynolds, thought about the pull-up. They'll feed Brutans inside. Maybe she'll get going now. Brutan's a freshman out of Barcelona who's rapidly improved since the first game. It was described to me as her being a completely different player.
The international style and the style that they play here at the collegiate level are very different, and so I think just establishing herself and getting into the physicality of this college game has helped her be more successful here lately.
Mayberry running the break and finding Jordan Gilbert for the easy two. Oral Roberts cutting the deficit back below 10 for the first time in the second half. Kelsey Moose comes back down, tries to answer a little Euro step, drawing the foul. Charlie Turner-Thorne almost line changes this game. That's something she kind of typically likes to do. She's about to bring in Dornstadter, Bruner, and Robbie Ryan. Excuse me, no, that's Riley Richardson who's going to come in. So Kelsey Moose to the free throw line. We kind of told you about the transition she's made from being a forward to a guard spot. Someone like Sophie Bruner came from a really small town, Edwall, Washington, and then had to adjust to the largest public school in the entire country. And for both of them, it seems like, I don't know, you've been around the program for years. I don't think either of them regretted that decision.
Absolutely not. You know, this is a close-knit group, and I know when Charlie brought them in, she knew that they had the work ethic and they had something special that was going to make this team great.
And it's interesting because, you know, that doesn't always work out for programs. You can even see it on the men's side. Bobby Hurley brought in Sam Cunliffe. He was their top recruit in like 8 years out of Seattle, Washington. And it just seemed like he got homesick. So Turner-Thorne, that's really, I think, the ultimate compliment to her program, that immediately she can bring these players in from all around the country and make them feel at home.
It's a really family-like atmosphere and a really close knit of players. The coaches are all there to support their players day in and day out, and they do a good job of just bringing everybody together and making them feel like they're at home here.
And you hear the same thing on this Oral Roberts side. Misty Cusson, such a nice job building a program. She made her NCAA tournament in her first year. Since then, this team has been up and down, but now they clearly have the athletes, they clearly have the players to compete on the highest level as Dornstadter picks up Mayberry's miss.
And you can see here tonight that they just don't back down. They're physical, and they're going to keep coming at you. This is a team that is coming into this game off of a big win, and they're not going to let Arizona State come in and just manhandle them.
Bruner, the one person who has been doing her share of manhandling. Ryan getting onto the ground, tipping it away. Going to stay Oral Roberts basketball. They're going to call the foul against Ryan, who got down there. Ryan, you see that football background showing some physicality. Oral Roberts showing some fight themselves, trying to get back into this one. An 11-point deficit. We'll see if they can make it shorter. You're watching Arizona State women's basketball only on Pac-12 Digital.